makeup friends, and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and today I'm going to share with you my January favorites. Now I have to admit, when I sat down and was really thinking about these items, I had in my mind for some reason that it had to total 10, and then I hit like 5 and realized that I was starting to stretch for what were truly favorites. So I've done away with that idea. I do have 2 honorable mentions that I will mention at the end of the video, but we do have quite a few other items to talk about. One of them completely unrelated to makeup, just so you're aware, but it has made an immeasurable difference in my life, so I want to share it with you. And the first item that I want to talk about is one that I had mentioned in my most recent Project Pan update. I had said that I had received 2 perfumes and that I was really excited to share them with you, but I couldn't do it just yet. Well, here we are. And while this video is being done in partnership with the brand that sent those perfumes to me, let me tell you, when I got their email, I was very excited. The brand that I'm talking about is Dossier. And if you're not familiar with Dossier, they make replicas of high-end luxury fragrances, but they sell them at a fraction of the cost. So when they reached out to me, they allowed me to choose the 2 scents that I wanted off their website. And let me tell you, that was a struggle because there are so many on there that I wanted to try. But the ones that caught my eye in specific, one is floral grapefruit and the other is fruity orange. So the reason why I picked these, first of all, fruity orange, as soon as I saw that it was inspired by Clinique Happy, I knew hands down that that was one that I wanted because I love the fragrance Happy. That is like what I wore from the age of 20 to like 35. I always wore that fragrance, and then it kind of branched out into others, and I've had it on my shopping list on the Shoppers Drug Mart website for ages because I can use points to redeem for free. But I've just never gotten around to it, and if you can tell from the background, I have a ton of perfumes here, so I keep adding them into Project Pans to focus on and blah, blah, blah. So the timing just never worked out until Dossier reached out to me. So I did pick up their fragrance, Fruity Orange. So I'm just going to read through the notes for you, just so you have an idea of what this fragrance is. So the top notes are grapefruit, bergamot, tangerine, and melon. Middle notes of orange, lily, green apple, and magnolia, and base notes of jasmine, musks, and plum. And let me tell you, this is bang on. Like I said, I don't have a bottle of Happy to like really do a 1 by 1, but this can transport me back in time. Like this takes me to the beginning of dating my husband 20 years ago. Like this is just such a nostalgic and such a meaningful scent to me, and it is spot on. I'm so happy with this one. The other one that I picked up, Floral Grapefruit, I got it because it had grapefruit in the name. I just love the scent of grapefruit. This one is inspired by Chanel's Chance au Tendre. The top notes are grapefruit, pear, and blackberry. Middle notes of hyacinth, jasmine, and lilac, and base notes of orris, musks, and amberwood. And again, I don't unfortunately have the comparison for this one. I actually did intend to go to Sephora and get a sample for the purposes of actually doing a comparison, and then freaking life got in the way. This week has been interesting to say the least, and I'm facing some very difficult stuff with my mom. Just bear in mind, my mom is turning 91 next month, and I'm hoping she's going to turn 91 next month. Just for those of you who are new here or don't know, my mother's actually my maternal grandmother. My grandparents adopted me and raised me from basically the hospital. So very, very close with her. And yeah, it's not been an easy week. So that all said, this is just a very lovely and light fragrance. It's really well balanced, really well blended. Nothing really sticks out. Like it's not, even though it has floral grapefruit in the name, it's not like driving force of grapefruit. It's nothing that like catches you in the back of the throat. It's just a really, really nice, well-balanced fragrance. But I'm just so very happy to have this one inspired by Happy, ironically enough. And then on top of all that, though, is just I really enjoy the whole aspect of Dossier. I wasn't super familiar with them, and they'd actually reached out to me because they are now available in Canada. So my Canadian friends, this is now an option for you. And it's great because they offer risk-free purchasing. So you have 30 days to return. They will give you a full refund with no questions asked. And they also offer free exchanges, which is pretty awesome because they do have a ton of fragrances to choose from. And I noticed in specific that they had a lot that are inspired by Tom Ford fragrances, which if you can get a replica that is as close as this one at a fraction of the cost, why wouldn't you? Anyways, that aside, I have not particularly had good experiences with Tom Ford fragrances in the past. Anytime I've got a sample, even when they sound like the kind of scent I'm going to enjoy, there's just something about them that I just don't. And so even if I bought them through Dossier at a lower price, it still doesn't do me much good if I'm going to be stuck with a perfume that I don't enjoy. So the fact that I can exchange or return, I think that's fantastic. And they're constantly adding new fragrances to their collection, and they do welcome suggestions from users as well. So if there's ever a really popular fragrance that they don't have yet, and people are recommending it or suggesting it, it might be one that they add to their collection down the road. The other thing that I really like about this is the packaging on it. So it is very sleek and very minimal. I actually really kind of like that, especially if you were to purchase multiples. It just looks really nice, kind of all lined in a row. But I like the heft of it. It is glass, and this lid is a magnet. And I think that's so fantastic. So if you did, want to travel with this for a weekend away or something of that sort, you can sort of rest assured that it's not going to just pop off in your luggage. Like, it's a very secure magnet on there. As well, the spray mechanism on it is really quite nice. It's not too harsh. It's a nice fine mist. And I do find that the fragrance has very good lasting power on my skin as well. And so just for the point of comparison, I looked up the prices of these perfumes on Dossier as well as on Sephora. So in American dollars, Fruity Orange, the one inspired by Clinique Happy, is $19 US for 50 milliliters on the Dossier website. On the Sephora website, for the same volume of perfume, you'd be paying $62. And for Floral Grapefruit, which is inspired by Chanel's Chance au Tendre, this one on the Dossier website goes for $29. And on the Sephora website, again, for 50 milliliters, you'd be paying $122, all of those in US. So it does offer significant savings. And from what I can tell, and based on my sort of physiological reaction to this scent, the one inspired by Happy, and from memory, it is spot on. And even if it's not spot on, I cannot tell the difference. So thank you, Dossier, for reaching out. Thank you for supporting this video, and thank you for making luxury high-end fragrances at a fraction of the cost. All right, so now let's move on to the makeup favorites, and the first one probably won't come as much of a surprise if you've been watching my Makeup That I Wear to the Office series, and that is the NYX Brow Glue. I have mine in dark brown. This is so good. Like, this is literally a game changer for me because now when I reach back and use my tinted brow gels that I have, even the ones that I really, really enjoyed previously have been ruined for me because this is so damn good. So I have said in a previous video, bears repeating here, especially if you obviously haven't seen that video, this is fantastic if you already have fairly full brows and just need control. If you're looking for like filling in of your brows, or you have very sparse brows to begin with, I don't think you're going to like this product. But I have relatively full brows, but they definitely have a mind of their own and they are not on the same page. So I need to beat them into submission, and this gets it done. That brush is really, really precise, so it really does get nice precision going through the brows. That glue is like the perfect name for it because it holds like you wouldn't believe. And when I first applied it, I thought that I was really going to dislike it because you can feel the resistance as you're applying it. Like, it is tacky, but it doesn't stay tacky. And you don't feel any movement with your eyebrows. You don't feel any resistance as you're like emoting throughout the day. When you touch them, your brows, when you touch them, your brows aren't all like crunchy. It doesn't dry up and get flaky. Like, I've seen pictures of myself after the fact with other brow products on where they've kind of like dried up and it almost looks like I have like dandruff sitting in my eyebrows. And I'm like, what? You're doing me dirty. What is that? You have one job. One job. Don't be messing it up. This one doesn't mess it up. It lasts all day. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I would gladly replace all of my other brow products with this one. And I know that that's a bold statement, but here we are and I'm making it. All right. Next, the Surreal Skin Foundation from Makeup by Mario. I have mine in the shade 3W. Now I will say the shade descriptions are a little confusing, and when I used the shade finder on Sephora, it was suggesting that I should get 6W, but when I looked at the swatch comparisons and all that, I figured that was going to be way too deep for me, and I was right. This is like a perfect match for me. I freaking love this foundation. I think it just looks so beautiful on the skin. It's sort of like light medium coverage, not quite light, not quite full medium, but like the nice sweet spot in between where natural sort of freckles on my skin and things like that still show through, but it really evens out the tone. The finish on this is what really sells me on it though. It just looks like my skin, but super well hydrated. Like it just looks so healthy on the skin. It doesn't look artificial in the way that some glowy foundations can, where it's just an unnatural level of sheen. It just makes my skin look absolutely perfected. It's nice and lightweight, never feels heavy or greasy on my skin, and it wears beautifully throughout the day as well. I rave reviews over here. I'm really, really happy with this. Another makeup product that I fell quickly in love with is the Hudson Valley palette from Nomad Cosmetics. This just has a color story that sweet, like whispers sweet nothings into my ears at night. It's so beautiful. It's so autumnal. I love these kind of colors. These reds and oranges are just like, they bring out the green in my eyes. They're so easy to work with. They blend with each other. The mattes are just like perfect to work with. On this side, you've got some cooler options, some more earth tones. They balance really nicely with each other. It's a palette that when I look at it, I see a lot of different color combinations coming together and I get really inspired by it. And that's coming from somebody who throughout most of 2022, I just didn't feel inspired very often at all. This one kind of helped to bring me out of my funk, and I'm just really grateful for that, to be honest. It was a multitude of factors that helped me feel alive with makeup again, but this one was sort of the entryway. This is the gateway palette for me and the gateway makeup product that just brought that little spark of joy back, and I've just ridden that hard, and I'm just so excited about makeup again and just loving playing with different palettes in my collection. I'm loving the What I Wear to Work series because it allows me to express that creativity and it reminds me to play with different palettes daily, or else I'd probably be just beating the hell out of this one because I love it so much. But I owe it a little debt of gratitude for re-sparking that joy for me. And yeah, I'm just really, really happy with it and I really, really love it. There are two other palettes as well that have just made my heart very happy. They're more honorable mentions because I've only been able to wear them once each so far, so I can't really rave about the quality and the performance on a sort of global scale in terms of how all of the shades in the palettes perform, but both of them have just anyways, I'll show you what they are. So the Tartelette Energy palette, first of all, the packaging on this is just so pretty. I love the pink and the gold, and then the color story in here. These are my kind of shades. I will say I do kind of wish that this satiny, shimmery purple was a matte, but it's a minor gripe. That's my only sort of tweak that I would make to this palette, but otherwise it's a really nice blend of shimmers and mattes. From the shades that I have used, the mattes blended beautifully. There was really nice levels of pigmentation in there. I remember using this light pink in specific, and I didn't have to spend ages building it up. The shimmers hold up all day. They're beautiful on the eyes. It's just a palette that makes me happy. And again, this is one that I could wear repeatedly, time after time, and not get bored of it. And then the other palette that I have as an honorable mention, because I've only worn it once, is the Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette. And this is so beautiful. Again, we've got more of those autumnal tones, which I just can't get enough of. But these shimmers are phenomenal. The mattes, beautiful. I'll put a picture up here. This was done only using this shade here and this one up here in the middle. The range of depth that I was able to get out of this matte shade is not one that you can get with every palette. I was able to really diffuse the colors around the edges, and then I was able to build up the intensity on the outer corner of the lid as well. It blended so nicely. It built up beautifully. That's what I ask for in my mattes. I don't want them so pigmented that they apply, they adhere, and there's nowhere to go. That is not the case here. The shimmers, they picked up beautifully with the brush. They lasted all day. They really just transformed the eyes and brought them to life. And again, this is just another one of those palettes that I look at it and I just want to play. And I love when a palette can do that. I mean, the simplicity of it. There's only 9 shades in here, but there's so many different ways to go with this, and those metallic shades really transform any shadow underneath. And yeah, I'm just super, super happy with this one. So then I have one more item, and it's not related to makeup at all, but like I said at the beginning of the video, it has made a huge impact on my life, and it's this thing right here. Nothing particularly exciting to look at, but what it is light therapy for seasonal affective disorder. So it's just a little USB thing. You just plug it in. I take it to work usually. Sometimes I'll sit with it on while I'm editing as well. So you just plug it in. I can, you know what, I can do it with my computer. It might make my audio angry. We'll see. Plugs into the USB, and then just a bright ass light. So I just sit and I have it sitting off to the side of my computer at work, and it just sits there for a few hours each day. And I don't know if it's psychosomatic. This could be entirely bullshit. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, today is February 1st, and I have not yet felt the effects of seasonal affective disorder. And that, for me, is huge, because it's usually like immediately after New Year's, I hit that slump. I am down. I cannot get up. I had literally booked off most of January so that I didn't have any court dates in case I was stuck in bed, unable to get out. And I did that in August. I start panicking as soon as the end of summer approaches, because I know just how small and cold the world is going to feel come January. And this year it hasn't happened. This is the only thing I've changed. So I'm going to give credit to it. Now this one in specific I bought at Shoppers Drug Mart. I will try to find something very, very similar in that same price point, because I think I paid like $30 for this. I'll try to find them and link them down below in case you're interested, but the proof's kind of in the pudding, and I'm just comparing myself now to where I was last year at this time, miles apart, like just world of difference. And I credit this. I credit this, and I'm so glad that I, decided to just try it with a $30 item rather than I was looking at, I think there were $260 for light therapy glasses, so that you always have that light around no matter what you're doing. They were, like I said, $260. I didn't need to go super expensive. This one has done the trick for me, and I'm so grateful for it. So I wanted to share that in case anybody else suffers from seasonal affective the same way I do. I really hope that this helps you as well. So there we have it. Those are my favorites for the month of January. There were, of course, other items that I really enjoyed using as well, but these were the ones that are like the cream of the crop. These are the ones that deserve to be in this video. So I would love to hear from you in the comments what items are making you happy at this moment. Is there a palette that you have that always inspires you and sparks joy in your heart? Let me know down below. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I will see you in my next video. And until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.